Titan's Call is a D&D 5e actual play podcast containing mature themes and adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome, people, to the next episode of DoubleDM's Titan's Call. Titan's Call is I messed it up. Titan's Call is a D&D 5e actual play podcast produced by DoubleDM. I am Emil of DoubleDM, and my players are here as well. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome. Thank you.
Hyped
Great.
as usual.
Yeah.
You can hear my players excited.
Woo!
Woo!
Whoop, whoop.
We've been having a lot of fun in between the last recording and this recording.
Yep.
So, I don't think we have any real announcements. So, why don't we dive into this episode of Titan's Call? Just last episode, you guys were met with the next day after the destruction. You were faced with the repercussions of the attack. You went on your way to the point zero, as we called it, where you found nothing. You went on to the upper city, where you found a burned severed arm, that you concluded with that something was very hot in the upper city. Then you made your way down to the lower parts of town, where you found some scavengers, some opportunists, taking the opportunity to steal some trinkets, jewelry, and gold from the people that have probably deceased in the annihilation of your hometown. Aiden wasn't having that. Aiden was angry and intimidated the two into helping the grave clerics in burying and helping the people find eternal rest. Now you're on your way to the temple of Lady Delilah, the goddess of Arcana and the unknown. As you guys are walking through the streets, or right after Aiden intimidated these two people, what do you guys do? What are you doing? How are you feeling about the whole situation that you're in? You've got some glimpses into how people deal with the catastrophes that happened around you. And what are your thoughts on that?
It's a bit tough because, I personally try not to judge people for how they're coping with things. Although I think Aiden made the right decision to send them to the temple to help set off grave robbing. But we're not here to help. Well, we are, but in another sense. We're here to find some information, and I strongly believe that we should continue looking for that and not let us stop by other people who are doing those things, whether we hear or not.
Aiden is especially, with the last interaction, disgusted by some people that try to make a personal profit out of this catastrophe that happened before everything is played out flat on the table, because there are still a lot of unknown factors of maybe survivors, maybe not. Without the full picture, trying to make a personal profit out of others' demise isn't really a thing he likes. So yeah, he feels very angry felt very angry at the sight, and now is disgusted why people would do that.
Yeah, as for Gradient, well, it's, kind of interesting to see a whole spectrum of different responses to the catastrophe. So, I guess everyone has his reasons to do whatever he does. So, well, it's still kinda, weird, and it's a little bit like, he himself hasn't really taken in all that's happened and is mostly viewing just as a spectator, probably because he doesn't want to really understand what has happened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As you guys make your way further to the temple, you can see it in the distance already. You can see the High Cathedral, as it's always called, of magic. It's a big building set atop of a flight of stairs, so it's very lifted above the rest of the city, which probably was a big advantage against the incoming waters of the tsunami. And surviving that, you see signs of the earthquake, however. You see certain parts have collapsed, or not big parts, but a few parts from the roof have fallen down or fell down. A few things in the garden or in the surrounding areas have been shaken down to the ground, but generally it's still standing top, which is a good sight for you to behold because that is where you want to go. It's the first time you really see something, your destination, not destroyed or gone.
That's the start.
Kind of gives hope, seeing not everything completely and utterly destroyed, but still being kept not alive. Buildings cannot be alive, but intact.
Where you don't know if it's alive. Maybe it's a huge mimic.
Oh no.
Well, at this point, I would like to turn around.
Does the building have teeth? Well, goodbye then.
No, the Cathedral of Magic is a big temple or big cathedral made out of white stone high walls. The roof of the cathedral is made from purple bricks and materials giving it its very unique look. There is a huge centerpiece dome in the middle of the cathedral roof. To get to the entrance, you guys would have to walk up a few broad stairs flanked by huge braziers with eternal glowing purple fire. At the top of the stairs awaits you a statue of Lady Delilah, the mother of magic. This depiction of her is the official religious depiction of her with this intricate layered dress with all of these different clothes folding and connecting into each other, while the statue is in one color. The depictions show her dress in 8 different colors, depicting the 8 foundations of magic. Her arms and head are tattooed with arcane symbols, markings, and all kinds of glyphs that flow into each other as if they are all one stream of magic. Around her neck, she wears the symbol of magic, the 8-pointed star. So, this is what you see from the outside.
Mm-hmm. Then I would like to walk up the stairs towards the temple doors and see if they are open or even still there.
Oh no, they're there. You could also walk through them. They're closed right now, but they don't seem to be locked at all. But this is just the site you take in. If you want to do anything outside or want to talk before you go inside, now's your time.
Can you see or hear people inside or around it besides us?
Especially guards?
You don't see any guards. Except for Maiden, maybe. But you don't see any guards, but you see other people walking around. You don't hear or see anyone inside because there aren't any windows on this side of the building. And the walls and doors seem to be very thick. So no real way to listen in on someone inside.
Well, that's a sight for sore eyes. Something that is still standing, even after all this.
I hope it will give us some much needed information.
Well, it will be a start.
Should we knock? Or
would I know the correct etiquette for entering a temple after a city destruction event?
Well, you don't know the correct code of conduct if the city is destroyed and the temple is still standing, but you also think that they don't have one for that matter. You think that it's still a house of holiness. It's still a house of prayer and of openness, of community. So probably pushing open the door is all you need to do to get inside.
Then I will go up the stairs and push open the door.
Okay, you push open the doors and open up into the inner chambers. You all walk in, I presume?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So while this house is clearly a house of holiness, it also seems to be an arcane study. You can make out several places where clerics of the Arcana family can hone their spellcasting. The cathedral is fairly empty as you enter. There are only 2 people in these purple-yellow robes, filled with different arcane sigils and glyphs, talking as they quickly look over to you guys, but continue talking, and you can't overhear what they are saying, but you assume it is about the current situation and state of everything. They just looked over quickly and then carried on with their conversation and didn't really care for you. The interior of this cathedral is a magical sight to behold. Kind of intended pun, but you have all these magical orbs in different colors floating about 15 feet minimum or up to 60 feet high in the chamber you're in, bouncing off the walls and each other, all emitting this low light that fills the huge chamber with a big night sky filled with that fills. Okay, you all have these magical orbs in all different colors floating above the ground, about 15 feet to minimum to 60 feet high in the chamber, bouncing off the walls and each other, emitting this low light that fills this chamber with a big sea of colors in the sky. That is really this kind of night sky, but just in color, more or less. There's a huge floor mosaic pattern that shows a night sky as well. It's kind of like when you look above and below, you're in space. Even though it's just a floor of small little floorboards, it feels endless to look down. Just as much as when you look up into these floating orbs that represent stars. In the middle of this chamber is another big statue of Lady Delilah, this time drawing magic symbols in the air on top of a fountain of water. There are a few doors going off from this main chamber. You don't know where they lead.
Ghelfi would just, at the beginning, take his time to look around and intake the beauty of this place. The night sky, the giant dancing lights. It's not something he has ever seen, or like anything he has ever seen. So he should probably close his mouth while looking out his mouth.
You said there were 2 figures in purple robes standing there?
Yeah, they eyed you with a quick glance and then started talking and are now making their way out of this chamber.
Mm-hmm.
They are leaving.
Then I would walk behind them or towards them and would try to address them. Excuse me?
One of them turns around and says, how may we be of service to you?
We might have a few questions regarding yesterday's events. Sorry for the inconvenience.
You're not the only one having questions there.
I figured, but my thoughts were if someone knew anything, probably priests and clerics of Lady Delilah, right?
Normally, people would ask the clerics of Zion, but that temple has been erased flat. So, yeah. And the other one goes, you shouldn't say that. Okay, maybe we can help. What are your questions, sir?
Oh, I don't want to hold you too long, but do you know anything about the upper city that vanished? You know how this happened or what this was?
They look at each other and are kind of whispering to each other. You don't understand what they're saying because there's still quite some distance from you. You're not standing right next to them, but you're pretty close. And they go, no one knows what happened to the upper city. That's what we're trying to figure out ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what the runes on the walls meant?
What runes?
You don't know. You haven't seen... Oh, well, shortly before the upper city vanished, well, you know the walls around the upper city, right?
Yes.
There were runes sort of like painted on it, but glowing, which looked like that. And I tried to show to show the runes, like
You're
to draw them.
and you draw in the air. Okay.
Probably completely wrong, but as far as I can remember it. And well, the runes on the walls were like glowing, and they were all around the city, well, as far as I could see it. And then everything went super bright and vanished.
Wait. So the other one kind of steps forward in your direction and says, well, you're telling me that on the walls of the upper city, there were hidden arcane runes that started the disappearance of the upper city?
No. I don't know whether they started it or what they were doing. We just hoped you might answer us what they were good for and what they did. And I looked kind of lost because I was hoping that they would know what I'm talking about or what they're talking about, but
they are very lost. They haven't heard of runes on the walls of the upper city at all. They only know the bright flash of light and that the upper city was gone then. They look at you and say, who are you guys again? I'm sorry, but normally it isn't in the place of us novices to ask who is asking for our aid, but I think in this time nothing is really normal anymore. Why do you guys know of arcane symbols? What?
I was looking at the city, so I've seen them, but I know nothing about arcane symbols, so that's why I'm asking you. And we came here in hope to get some help, maybe, because we don't know much.
Do you guys have any theories what happened to the upper city?
And they look at each other and go, well, there are many theories as to what could have happened. I believe that it was part of a teleportation ritual to somewhere. Others say it was erased and disappeared from all existence. And there are other theories as well as to it could have just some, in my opinion, crazier folk said it traveled through time. There's a lot of theories right now because we have no information. We know the magic signatures that we've looked at the upper city are completely, you could say, unintelligible. It's nothing like we've ever seen before. It's like something completely new to us.
So it's possible that the magic used could burn bodies, and I'd hold up the arm.
Oh God! Why do you? This is a house of God. Why do you have that?
Well, we have found it at near the upper city, and you see, it's sewered very cleanly, just like the hole in the ground where the upper city was. So there was.
So you're telling me that thing is?
Well, my theory is that the rest of the body was inside the upper city when whatever happened. So. Could teleportation magic burn bodies?
Normally it teleports the whole creature. But again, this magic is unknown to us at all. And as you guys talk with them a little long, or talk with them at this point, you hear someone's footsteps walking through the halls. They both look up behind, more or less to behind you, and see someone and quickly bow their heads. And I assume you guys turn around to see whom they are bowing to?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I would probably just be a little startled and then bow my head too, not really knowing why.
There's a woman. She walks around tending to certain things the cathedral has on display on pedestals scattered throughout the room. She wears this white long robe with the hood up above her head while wearing a big purple strap around her waist, tying it all together. You can see that parts of her arm are tattooed with all kinds of symbols and markings. On her forehead is this huge purple tattoo of the symbol of the 8-pointed star of Lady Delilah on her shaved head. She kind of tends to a few things in the cathedral and then walks up to you guys and says, welcome to the House of Magic. How may I be of service to you fine folks?
Hello, and I give a short bow. We were trying to make any sort of sense what has transpired the last day, and figured this place, would be the best to start.
The answers you seek are sought by many, by us as well. I don't know if I can answer your questions. I don't know if anyone can. I don't know if our goddess can. I can assure you that we are trying our best to help people, to make sense of everything that has transpired. But as you've heard from our two novices here, we are unsure of what happened. And as she looks to Coradian with the arm in his hands, why are you holding a severed arm in my cathedral, sir?
Excuse him.
Well, I found it near the upper city and didn't knew what really happened there. And it's clean cut, the rest of the upper city. And I thought to myself, before I have to go back and pick it up again, I could just bring it here because maybe it would come handy for investigation.
He hasn't been around people much.
And for the love of God, please stop waving around with it.
She asked.
I can tell that your friend here hasn't been around people much. Take this arm and bring it to my chamber, but wrap it in cloth, please. And one of the two walks up to you and slowly takes this arm away from you. And both of them usher out of the center room into some other distant corridor and are gone. She starts walking again, and you guys can follow her through the cathedral as she tends to further things they have on pedestals, which are scriptures, old ancient rings or stones, anything they have on display really that is kind of just a relic of lore, of legends that they just have on display for people, and she tends to these things and sees if they're okay after the attacks or after the destruction and annihilation of the city, and just walks through the cathedral to make sure that everything's fine.
Then, and we witnessed some sort of ritual happening at the Temple of Highness, where this beast, this titan, emerged or appeared, and
beam of light appeared, and the beast walked toward you.
Or that. It's still a bit hazy for me. I can't. Anyways, we saw this mask, and I try to explain it or describe it as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of this or of something like this?
I'm sorry, my child, but no, I haven't heard of a mask, a ritual, these beasts, titans. I've never heard of this before. Maybe something in our ancient texts, in our ancient archives can give us information to it, but that will take time to find. That I don't even have that many people left of clergy or priests. Some of them decided to leave yesterday, skip town and start a new life. Others abandoned their faith completely. Many were even killed while helping people get away from the water. I don't know how we as one people can move forward from this. It feels like too much of everything at once. And for one of the first times in my life, I'm feeling like I don't have the answers.
And no one expects that. It is totally okay because everyone is looking for those answers. And I think as a people, we can get through this with enough time.
You seem optimistic.
That's what's keeping me through this day and through the last one.
I can tell you that faith will not yield to such catastrophe. We, as a faith, as people, will survive this. It's just unsure how we will go forward. And the unknown is one of the things that I've been taught to seek. It is still scary sometimes to look into something you don't understand. And I will make my best. I will promise to you, to all of you, to all the people, that my faith will not yield to this. That we might soon find answers to this.
And I can't promise this either, and I don't want to speak for my companions here, but I think we try our best to find answers to whatever this was and find out who was responsible. At least I will try.
Talking about who's responsible, do you know anything of the, cultists, people, whatever?
What cultists?
Well, in the temple where the beam appeared and the titan, whatever, went to, there were a bunch of people, not priests of the temple. They were or had already been slain, lying around on the floor. But these people in their uniforms, what was it, blue, with some kind of symbol. Does either of you remember the kind of symbol or uniform?
It just happened too fast.
Well, they are the people doing the ritual Aiden was talking about, and after the Titan was at the temple, they vanished, teleported, whatever, out. Maybe we can find some of their corpses in the rubble, but given that the Titan destroyed, leveled the whole temple, it might be possible that they are beyond recognition and anything they had. But so you didn't knew about the people that came and went with the catastrophe.
How was I supposed to?
And I don't know. It looks like they were bringing in Maisie, some sort of, I don't know. They captured her. So
they brought you in. They captured you.
And I turned to Maisie. So you weren't part of the temple, right? You said you were from the upper city.
I wasn't.
So I guess they were roaming around town.
I didn't know them, and they didn't tell me why they captured me. But luckily I was able to escape since they were busy.
You folks have a lot of information about what happened.
Well, if my father was here, I guess we would have enough information, but He isn't.
I think we're just lucky to be able to see some things which probably we weren't supposed to see. In case you'd like to know, I can try to remember the runes which were on the walls before the upper city disappeared.
You were near the upper city when it disappeared.
Not near, no. Close enough
yes.
to be able to see, I guess.
Yes, come to my chambers, child, and try to draw them for me.
Oh Lord.
She walks you guys through some corridors into a big chamber filled with all kinds of books, scriptures, a desk, and she sits down at this desk and hands you some parchment and some. What does she hand you? She hands you this coal pen, more or less, that you can draw with, and then you can try to draw the runes. I would like an intelligence check to remember the runes.
Do it.
A straight intelligence check?
Yeah, straight intelligence.
That's an 8.
That's an 8. It's not that great. There's some runes that where you at least think you get the basic shape right. But she takes it anyway because she doesn't know the runes anyway and says, "Thank you for helping in our investigation into this sort of magic that seemed to have laid in our city without my knowledge."
Yeah, we are giving our best. And speaking of information, would it be maybe possible for us to look into your books of, I don't know, magic or information and tales and history? Since, well, we'd like to investigate as well and help wherever we can.
She eyes, especially you, Maisie. I would like for you to make a persuasion check. At some point, you guys have to roll high. That's just... Or don't. That's just how math works. But
it's a 15.
It's a 15. So I think I'm gonna as the GM, make my first roll of this session as well.
Oh.
Ooh.
She looks you up and down and says, "I'm sorry, but I understand that you've helped us and that that I should be the one to give back now is as is custom. But we've heard of stories of people breaking into the catacombs of temples just yesterday. Because my players have confused looks on their faces, you know that these cultists, so you call them, have broken into the catacombs of the temple you were in. Mm-hmm. You know that they've carried stuff with them.
Yeah.
I do not think you are the same as the people that you claim to be the people that started all of this. The cultists, as you call them. I do not believe that you are part of them. But I have to make sure to protect the knowledge that our walls keep. And with how the city is in turmoil, people are scared. I cannot let anything happen that could make them feel unsafe in our holy halls as well. If you guys were thieves and were stealing some of our scriptures, I cannot take that risk. I'm sorry, but I cannot let you into our catacombs right now.
But you just can't withhold information from us. There must be another option.
Maisie, we will find another way. Thanks for your time. And thanks for all that you've said to us. And that all of the knowledge you shared with us. And I think caution is a very good thing right now.
Have you ever heard the term the day of the end?
She looks at you confused. This is not the end.
Well, the guys, like I said, in the dark blue uniforms, golden lining, grey underneath, that was the term they used, and they said so yesterday is the dark of the end, or that was drawing near. Well, they were talking about it, just like, I
haven't heard anything of that. She goes, she starts thinking again. No.
Exactly.
I might be a little too careful right now. This is not the time to be too cautious. Maybe we can find something with the knowledge you guys have of what happened yesterday in the archives faster. I take back my initial response. I take back what I initially said, and I will accompany you guys to our catacombs, to our archives.
Nice. Thank you so much.
But I must warn you, if you steal anything from our archives, this will be the last time you will ever set foot in our archives.
That's clear. We don't intend on stealing it.
Gradient shrugs it off. Yeah, sure.
Another week, another Titans Call episode. And also, obviously, this new mid-roll. As every week, just a little bit of break for you to grab another cup of coffee or tea or water, whatever you're drinking, and to calm down from the intense mystery. I don't know which episode this is on. I don't know what you currently listen to, but I know it's good. How you're liking this one so far? Enjoying the episode or the entire show? Great. We would love to hear your thoughts and theories, either through a review on your favorite podcast platform or social media. Leaving reviews not only allows us to connect with you and what you think about our shows, so we can make them better and more amazing. Just simply that. But it also allows others to find and enjoy Titans Call, just like you are doing right now. And on social media, that's where you'll find all kinds of announcements, funny memes, discussions of all sorts around our shows and TTRPGs in general. That's really the best way to connect with us, and that's where you will find us nearly every day, either engaging with the community or talking. We are there, even if we might not be posting all the time. You can probably get a hold of us that way very easily. So why not come say hi? I don't have anything else this week, so that's the mid-roll. I can just say right back to the episode and have fun. And as she guides you guys to the stairs that lead down into the catacombs and into the lower archives of the temple, you walk a few flight of stairs downwards into dark and claustrophobic space, more or less, where you enter rooms of scripture and libraries, more or less. You see arcane circles, reinforced magic chambers for the arcane. She brings you to a sort of study room, a room filled with shelves, filled with scriptures, books, old manifests, and all of that stuff, religious texts, antiquities, and more. Now it is more or less time for you guys to start looking around for what you can find with the information you have. It's an ancient archive, and she can help you to find what you're looking for. So a lot of things down here are more or less studies that are used to teach acolytes and novices and initiates the faith they are in. So there's a lot of history, there's a lot of ancient religious texts and that sort of stuff. But currently there's too much going on above ground to be actually in here. So you guys can start looking around, can start trying to find what you're looking for. So I think how we're gonna do this is, since she is there, I would say any rolls made to obtain information down here are made with advantage anyway. For you guys.
Ooh.
You convinced her enough with the knowledge you have and with your pleads that she wants to help you. Even though she isn't really happy with it, she really doesn't want her scriptures to get stolen because she knows it happened. And while you guys clearly aren't the people that stole the scriptures, even though she can't be that sure of that, she believes you enough to actually help you down here, and therefore you get advantage. What questions do you guys have? How do you want to find information? Do you look around? How do you guys want to approach finding this information?
You said this isn't the day of the end, which implies you have heard of it.
No. You misunderstood her then.
Yeah, well, I mean, she at one time she said this isn't the end of the day, and the basically two sentences later she said she never heard of it.
So you misunderstood me, probably.
Okay.
She did not say this is not the day of the end. She said this is not the end. You told her, do you know what, right? You told her this is the end of all things. And she said, no, it isn't.
It's the day of the end. Have you ever heard of the term? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and she said,
this isn't the end. Okay.
No, this isn't the end. There is no end of days.
All right. Then where do you keep your, do you have knowledge concerning the rest of the world and their population? Like if we found that there's a city where the people are, like the town's guard are wearing these exact colors or stuff like that?
I'm afraid that this is a temple of magic and mysteries and that sort of knowledge. not people.
But peoples are a mystery.
Well, we don't have information on what people were on a different continent.
Oh.
This is not information you hide in an archive.
Then maybe we could start with runes and rituals and teleportation stuff and, anything magical like bells, birthmarks, books, runes. I don't know.
We can start there, yes. And you can with her find or not find, but search for all kinds of different symbolisms in magic, runes, glyphs, and all of that sort of stuff, and also marks that could mean anything. Yeah, you can do that. I'm not gonna ask you to roll yet because we're gonna make this. You guys tell me what you want to do, what you want to find, what you want to roleplay, and all of that stuff for the scene, and then we're gonna roll, and then we're gonna see what information you find. Okay.
I would like to see if there are any sort of legends, myths, or anything that relates to big ancient mythological creatures, somewhat resembling the thing that suddenly emerged from somewhere.
Yeah. Also that, you can find old ancient texts of lore, of sagas, or old collections of little folklore bits and bobs and manifests of people collecting them and ordering them and kind of categorizing them that you can also find.
And I would like to offer the head priestess, that I could write an sort of account what happened yesterday in the church and what the ritual said and stuff like that.
So as for our head priestess, first of all, her name is Amadia Tember. You guys know that she introduced herself to you guys while you were walking down the catacombs because you realized you didn't introduce yourselves. She's also known as the High Arcane Eye, which is just the head priestess of this whole thing. So she will gladly take on that you write an account of what you saw and what you remember. Right now they are very much in the information gathering stage. They want all the information they can get. They want to document what happened. They want to keep it for past generations. So first-hand witness accounts would be one of the best things she can actually get from you guys. Actually, she's gonna probably ask every one of you to at least account what they saw, heard, and also felt in the time they were since the beam lit up until basically now or whatever, right? She wants you to answer not only a few questions, but really account her with everything you remember. And unless any one of you subjects, we're just gonna say you guys will also give that over. You will account that and she will write that down. And that, I think, puts them into a great spot of actually being able to also, to help you guys, because now they have something to document. Because most of the people that would have any knowledge of either what happened to the upper city or in the temple are probably dead, crushed, burned, or gone.
With the upper city.
Something along those lines, at least. So currently, witness accounts are hard to come by. So Coradian, what are you looking for? What do you want to research down here?
Well, do you have anything concerning like the ocean? Was there ever some kind of, magic signature coming from it? Mythological creatures coming from it? Or stuff like that? Because at the end it descended into the sea and came from there. Maybe there were, some traces before it.
Sure, you can also work with her to find all things on the ocean. The ocean as a symbol, more or less, also for magic or for creatures. The vastness of it, the studies that people have done on all kinds of creatures living in the ocean and that sort of stuff. Yeah, you can do that. So, as for rolling dice, all of you can roll with advantage, obviously. One of you make me a history check. One of you make me an arcana check. One of you make me an investigation check.
Each of us rolls for each category.
No,
each of us rolls one.
Okay.
We decide who gets which category and...
I have no idea about arcana and history, but Oh, well.
I would go with history, probably, because checking back ancient mythological things from ancient texts would probably relate to that most, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say it's Nerf. Maisie will take the Arcana check because, well, she's doing directly that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any difference for me. So Aiden, the history check, because it's the closest to whatever he's doing. Maisie, Arcana, because that's like directly what she's doing, and I will do investigation because you know what they say.
That's what's left.
Duck around and find out.
Right.
We have advantage, right?
Yeah. I took advantage of the advantage. It's a 14.
Well, the good news is my second roll can't be worse than my first one.
But it can be equally as shit.
It can be equally shit, yeah. But it's an 11.
Okay, we have a 14, we have an 11, and...
An 18.
Oh.
Ooh.
Two 15s rolled.
That's better than what I had rolled combined.
So, you guys do a good amount of research. You probably spend 3 or 4 hours down here. You go through different old tomes that already have collected dust, manuscripts, scrolls, parchments with all kinds of different stuff. While there clearly is a structure, it isn't that well kept and enforced down here. Next to any scriptures, there are also different items throughout history that you don't understand. Weird weapons, crystals, other things. A dagger made from stone, a blue translucent crystal, or a feather quill from some tropical bird or something. But you all get some information. You all learn something. But the main thing you actually learn is from an old research manuscript. The pages are dusty and kinda wrinkly. There are different sections to the manuscript. Some look like citations. Others look like notes to those citations. The manuscript isn't titled, but it focuses on one thing alone. The Diary of Jack O'Haran. The manuscript doesn't talk too much about Jack, but he was a famous researcher and explorer a long time ago. It is hard to discern how old the original texts are, but the research notes in the manuscript are dated to the 22nd of Femora 685, roughly 700 years ago. The diary talks of ancient structures made from black marble, stone tablets with inscriptions on them, murals and wall scriptures, and a lot of other things. The diary texts speak of scriptures and murals depicting building-high monsters roaming the earth, trampling everything flat, tiny creatures fleeing to the structures in fear. The manuscript calls them the Titans of Destruction, with annotations from translators that the original translation is unknown. Elven researchers called them the Titans of Destruction. Closer to the original text would be Titans of Ruination. Other researcher notes note a few other things. The original diary was lost long before the elves translated it. The elves had incomplete copies. No traces and proof of Titans has ever been found. And the location of described ruins is unknown and disputed. That is the main information you get from the scriptures you have. You get some information on sea creatures and the symbolism of the sea. You get information on different arcane symbols and marks, but none of it really matters to your cause. What you really find is this information about the diary of Jack O'Haran. How do you guys react?
Looks like they haven't invented anything new.
And it sounds like there are more of them where the first came from.
The question is, if this manuscript is about 700 years old, that means that in the information on those titans of ruination or destruction, or whatever you want to call it, has been newly discovered. And I'm wondering where the people, or I don't know who, called the titans, I don't know, where they got the information from? Oh no.
Well, that's a lot. But I think we have something to go off of now. There's more we can research somewhere. We know what we're looking for, at least to some extent now. That's a good start.
Do we?
I mean, this manuscript talks about the Diary of Jack O'Haran, right? If we find out more about this, we might be able to find out where the other or where the ruins that were described in here are, what they were all about, why, and what these titans of ruination are, where they are, and maybe how we can stop them.
Also, we might be able to find some new information on how they were called or summoned. Yes, as far as I understand, magic or spells are sometimes reversible. So maybe there's a way of, well, not undoing the damage they've done, but at least preventing them from doing another destructive action.
Yeah.
So we need to find someone with 700-year-old knowledge?
Something along those lines, yeah. That will be a task, and I think this hasn't really answered any questions, but it stirred up new ones that are maybe easier to comprehend than just what is the big picture, because we don't know that.
We have to start small, right?
Exactly. I mean, it isn't really small, what we found out, but it's definitely smaller than whatever the fuck we were doing before.
Right.
Break it up into pieces, one step at a time, and we might be able to crack this.
We might look into information on elves, or what information they have or had, then what titans are, then how they were being summoned back then, and maybe that can help us to know how they were summoned this time.
Okay, let's go step by step. Does anyone here know where to find elves?
Oh, all of you know.
It's great.
Southwest of the continent, right through the dark woods.
Okay, bad idea. What was step 2?
I think step 2 probably go to a more intact city to see if there is anything left to gather, then probably through the dark woods.
You see Gradient's face freezing. We actually have no idea if this was a single incident or if it happened at different places as well.
Exactly, that's why that's not the first option to go. Just straight into the woods shouldn't be the first thing to do.
We could go to the other temple. We still have other cities which are nearby.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't bear fruits, then maybe. But that sounds terrifying, to say at least.
What?
Yeah, it does.
The elves?
Everything regarding
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Timber, thanks for all that you've done. Thanks for
so
all
much.
this help.
My child, it's my eternal duty to help people seek knowledge, to help people understand unknown, understand the world around them.
Nevertheless, giving people hope is no small task, and none that shouldn't be thanked for.
It is not me that gives you hope. It is my faith that gives you hope.
Well, you're still the conductor of your faith. The faith speaks through you towards us.
No. It is my faith into Lady Delilah that is giving me the strength to give you hope.
So it is you.
No, faith is something that cannot be explained through normal means, my child. It is something that is deep down within you. Something that it's the driving force that keeps you moving forward, to not fall to the floor and curl up and die. It is what kept many people, myself included, going through the darkest times, and will keep them going through this time as well.
Your head?
My faith. Do you have something you always think to first if you're in danger?
Yeah,
if
sure.
You're scared?
Yeah.
Then that is your faith.
No, that's my father.
You believe in your father to help you, to save you. That is called faith.
No. I know my father will save me.
Yes, as I do know, Lady Delilah will save me.
Oh, okay. How did we get to this point of conversation?
Well, if we shouldn't thank you, then I quite frankly don't know what to say when we leave, but I think we should take our leave now.
You don't have to say anything.
All right. Then good luck with your further endeavors. May your faith guide you and others. And I awkwardly leave.
Stay safe.
That would be a good thing to say.
And because she said so, Gradient will leave without saying anything.
I mean, she explained herself that she doesn't need thanks or anything, so you don't have to thank her. You can thank a god and without saying anything. That's more or less what she's saying. She doesn't need to hear what you guys have to say to her. There's another entity you should be thanking. That's what she's saying.
Thanks, Dad.
I've been loving this very world-distant approach you're taking for this character, not knowing what is happening around you.
I'm having lots of fun.
You guys are exiting the catacombs and probably also exiting the temple?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, as you stand top the flight of stairs that leads you down to the normal city streets, what do you do next?
How late in the day is it?
It's getting to evening.
Okay.
The sun isn't settling yet, but it's close to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, I will go into the forest, well, at least not very deep, but to see if I find anything, to eat, anything useful, and just to check upon the stage of the forest. I mean, if the animals got scared away, maybe to see if they will come back, if there are any signs of it.
So you guys make your way to the Canadian hut once again, while Canadian walks into the woods and to find some animals. They are slowly coming back. So you find the odd little rabbit or hare, but nothing too much. But you can find food. But what are the other two doing in the hut while you're more or less alone?
Slight freak out mentally. As always, the whole day was just a constant in my head.
Aiden?
Yeah.
You seem like a good person.
Thanks. At least I try to be.
I believe it will pay off. So don't worry too much.
But
We'll be okay.
I kind of feel guilty for all this situation that we are in right now.
It's not your fault. I think you're handling it really good. Like, don't stress too much.
But the thing is, I saw those people before everything happened exiting a boat and didn't check on much deeper or more intensely because I had a weird gut feeling about those, but just putting people under general suspicion didn't sit right with me. So I just kept an eye out for them, but they were just, I couldn't find them anymore. And then later that day, all of this shit happened.
You can't change the past, and try not to beat yourself up with the situation because you can't change it. And right now you're doing your best and you're doing great. So
not changing the past, but maybe being able to change the future.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I'm trying to keep in mind.
Well, if it helps, I'm also trying to figure out why exactly the people there took me. Well, I can imagine why, but while researching, today, did you by any chance find something or anything about some meaning on birthmarks or anything like that? Because I have the feeling that someone mentioned it, but I don't know if it's important or not.
I'm afraid I did not.
Maybe it wasn't important at all, so it's fine.
Birthmarks, you say? What were the people talking about with these birthmarks you picked up, or was it just some random piece of conversation?
I thought it had something to do with the whole ritual thing they were doing, but I'm not entirely sure what the point was. So I don't know. I'm also a bit in stress and maybe don't remember it correctly. And it's been a long day. Maybe it's time to cook something and go to sleep. I don't know.
Yeah. But maybe let's sit outside for now. Just watch the sunset.
Yes.
Maybe some sort of calming experience might take our mind off things.
Yes, maybe. As
you guys sit outside, watch the sunset, Canadian comes home with a little bit of food. He also found some roots and some herbs you could maybe dry or something, just so you guys can make a lot of food. Canadian knows how to cook, especially with the ingredients he finds himself, so he gonna prepare some food. You guys eat and can go to rest a second time in the Duskwood hut. And that's where we will take off next time. It's Titan's Call time.
Can't we play a little longer, man?
We can't.
You guys listening out there, are you up for 4-hour episodes?
No. Stop right there. No.
The show says no.
The editor, creator, brain behind it says no.
Well, thank you guys for playing. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you
it's
for
been
everything.
a blast.
What?
With that, I think there's nothing else for us to say. Thank you guys for listening. We will hear you on the next one. Tune in next time for Titan's Call episode 5.
Woo! Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, can. The good thing is I can edit everything out we're doing right now until we say we're ready.
Outtakes.
This is too loud.
Well, I'm just orienting myself on, Zencaster and the thing I see, and it's like...
As soon as you hit the edge of your audio, it's bad.
Yeah, but I'm like not even halfway there, and you are on my screen like always hitting the edge, and I'm like, I don't know.
I think Smurf is muted or something. So you talking, I was like, okay, not registering anything. She's muted. Should I say something?
It's called acting.
The thing is, I was wondering whether it was a Zencaster thing, because usually it doesn't show me anything. Maybe just... It's like, am I speaking? Am I not speaking? I don't know. But yeah, I was muted. Sorry. We'll have lots of outtakes.
The Taken is pretty well for all of you.
Okay.
It's just speak normally and then everything is fine. Because the programs and editing takes care of everything else.
I don't want to be this guy, but I want to be this guy. Normalerweise spreche ich Deutsch.
I will kick you to the moon. And then once again up there, because I forgot my purse up there. Do you understand me?
It's amazing.
I hate this. I've selected the best and worst cast for this show that I could have gotten. And I love it, but I hate you guys.
The worst part.
Fuck you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. So when everyone's ready. Not yet, I see. Do we have to watch a funny video so you guys get your laughs out?
No, I need to watch some really sad video.
Can bring out an episode just of us laughing.
Yeah. Setting the mood,
You had to say it, dude. You had to, right? Oh.
You could see the two people that actually can do podcasting and can do faces without cracking up, and Smurf just barely holding on.